Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round number 9 and the season finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. To celebrate the naming of 2 champions tonight, it's only fitting that we head to the world's center of racing, Daytona International Speedway. Having replaced the sandy, and I'm using air quotes here, road course built on the beaches of northern Florida in 1959, it became both the first oval in the United States other than Indianapolis to stretch over 1.5 miles and the first multi-purpose auto racing facility, also housing then what was a 3.8 mile 7-turn road course. And so the course has changed quite a bit over the years, and tonight we race what the natives call the sports car circuit, 3.5 miles and 12 turns, where our drivers are going to have to balance both outright speed relative to an MX-5, of course, with the mechanical grip of the low grip flat infield course in their first and only night race of season number 21. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and with Larry Lefty McLeod joining me in the commentary booth for tonight's 60-minute sprint to the checkered flag. And of course, we've got Dennis Branch in the virtual production truck. He's bringing you all the best camera angles and action that Apex Racing TV is known for. And so, Larry, although we're maybe a little bit late to the party, welcome to the spring break capital of the world, where according to our good friend JG Pasterjack of Grassroots Motorsports Magazine, you know, the only place in the area that's more jumping than the Speedway this time of night is apparently Halifax Medical Center.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be sending anyone to the medical center
Hopefully
here
not.
tonight unless they fall out of their sim rig. But yes, we are at the spring break capital of the world to watch some exciting under the lights action here in the MX-5s. And I think this is going to be great because these things, if you ever seen, and I know you have, Miatas racing at this track, it is draft city. If you think it's fun watching NASCAR's draft around the tri-oval, wait till you see a couple of Miatas and a pack of about 10 of them drafting all the way into the back chicane. This is going to be a lot of fun. And yes, we get to decide championships tonight.
That's right. And one of our two classes is so close, Larry. I've got a whole spreadsheet here of about 16,000 permutations. So we'll definitely be talking about that in just a moment.
Send me the pivot table and I'll go off of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say you're the spreadsheet king, and unless I have something poster sized to print out on, I am no good with a spreadsheet. But let's do this, Larry. Why don't we turn things over to Kevin Ford? We just talked about how Daytona is draft city for the MX-5s. Let's turn things over to Kevin. He'll show us what a lap looks like at Daytona, and we'll refrain from critiquing him this week. I've gotten some feedback, although he thinks he's a better driver for it, especially after his lap at Summit Point 2 weeks ago. Perhaps our criticism isn't it hasn't been well received. But
I'll be
anyway,
happy to judge and tell him whether he's actually a better driver now than he was at Summit. But let's see this intro video.
I mean, who knows? He might pick up a couple seconds here at Daytona after we talk to him. So let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of Daytona International Speedway.
Welcome, everyone, to Daytona International Speedway Road Course. Great to have you with us today as we provide you your track guide around this amazing track. This place is so full of excitement, and of course the historical value here of motorsports at Daytona, well, it goes unmatched. The World Center of Racing, here we go. Let's head up the front straightaway. Of course, our main grandstands to the right, our pit entry there to the left. Drivers will be coming through here at a pretty high rate of speed. Once they're at speed, they'll come across the line at approximately 130 miles an hour in these cars. As they come down into turn one, they'll track out wide and then get down into this very heavy braking zone, as this is a tight wrapping left-hander here. We'll get right down to the apex, get a good launch off of this corner as we come up through turn two here. Just a little S section. We'll want to track back left. Right there's pit exit. And then we'll come down into this tight rotation of turn three. International Horseshoe, as it's known. Coming up off that corner, we'll get a good run here through the internal part of the road course. This is a slight kink to the left here of turn four. Very fast section through this portion of the road course. And then down into the West Horseshoe here. This one's a doozy. Very tight wrapping, heavy braking once again. Come right back to throttle, open her up. Track out wide here, and then we'll head down into turn six. This will bring us right back out onto the main portion of the 31-degree banking here. Very wide exit, great opportunity for overtaking. Getting a good run off that corner is important. You will see some drivers trying to overtake here, coming around this corner, picking up some good slipstream here, obviously. This is where the track is all about speed and all about those exits. Very critical to get good launch, not only out of that last corner at turn six, but also down here at the chicane. This chicane wasn't a part of the original road course here at Daytona, believe it or not. It was added in 1973. Through the chicane, we'll come right back to the right. Pretty much wide open through there in this car. And then right back into our 31-degree banking here, hoping to pick up a lot of speed. Coming through this corner, and of course, the slipstream. This is certainly one of the biggest overtaking opportunities, is coming out of the NASCAR turn 4 here, or turn 12 of the road course, as you head back down towards the tri-oval here and back across the stripe. Well, there you go. There's your track guide for the beautiful Daytona International Speedway road course. Thank you for being with us.
And thank you so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's OK Track Guide of Daytona International Speedway. So, Larry, we won't talk much about Kevin's lines through the International Horseshoe. It actually looked pretty good tonight, but it is definitely, I think, after a series made up of tracks that I think were very well suited to the handling characteristics of the MX-5. Daytona throws in a little bit of maybe a little bit of a monkey wrench here. I mean, certainly we've been at a lot of tracks where the draft is very important. But, you know, I remember a very big MX-5 race here at Daytona a couple years ago, where the question was always, well, what's faster, 2 cars working together, 3 cars working together? And it turned out 6 cars working together was actually the fast way around the course. So, we'll have to see here how things play out as we have our drivers out now for qualifying. And qualifying this evening going to be a little bit longer than normal. We're still going to be giving the drivers, I believe, 4 flying laps. But instead of 15 minutes, we are going to be giving them 20 minutes in order to set their fastest lap and set the grid for this evening's 60-minute race. And they will have the track, at least as it appears to them, all by themselves, what we call lone qualifying. So they won't have the benefit of that draft in trying to set lap times around here. And I think Larry, that would actually add quite a bit of excitement if we had some teammates working together and trying to use the draft.
I'm all for it. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put that as a request for next time they run a track like this in this series, is for that track only, open qualifying with full on live drafting and everything, because it would get very interesting if somebody comes up behind you and you decide to bail on a lap just to not give them a draft. But that's for another night. Tonight it's all by themselves.
Yeah, and that's how it's going to work out here, as we have both of our classes on track right now. We're going to have that timing pylon come up here as soon as we have some drivers complete some laps. But just to give you an idea, we've got our pro class and we've got our AM class. The pro drivers, you will see them with red numbers on red number boards on their sides of the cars, red mirrors as well, much like Robert Hartley right now, who's in line for that championship in the pro class. He's out on track right now, trying to put in his first flying lap. And then we've got our AM category drivers, and they will, much like we're looking at Russ Ruddock right now, driver of the number 95 machine. The AM category drivers, they will have the green number boards on the sides of their cars, and not necessarily meant to match the paint scheme of the car, but they will have the green mirrors as well. And when you see the timing pylon on the side of the screen there, you can see they are separated out by pro in the red, AM in the green. And if you see a car with purple right beside his name showing the car or showing the position, that means that's the car that we are currently highlighting on track. And so, Larry, let's do this quickly, because I believe we are going to have a guest here in a few moments after he puts in a flying lap or two. Let's quickly take a look back at our last round 2 weeks ago at Summit Point Raceway, where we had, we'll take a look first at the AM category, where we had Jose Gonzalez. Pretty strong win here, 4 seconds back to our second place finisher, Jose Gonzalez from Not a Team Racing, taking the win over Jeffrey Cranston from Craney Customs. And then a long way back, almost 25 seconds back to Frito Sport Racing's Edgar Sancinelli, who is trying to hold on to the championship lead right now. He had Greg Brockway and Paulo Coimbra. Brockway also from Frito Sport, Coimbra from Not a Team Racing, finishing just off the podium in 4th and 5th. And if we take a look at the championship standings now, after 8 of 9 rounds, Edgar Sancinelli currently has a 20-point advantage over Jose Gonzalez. It should be noted that Sancinelli, 3 wins on the season. Gonzalez, who joined the series mid-season, has 4 wins in the AM category. And how different could things have been if Jose was with us for round number 1? But right now, a 20-point separation with Sancinelli, currently your leader. Jeffrey Cranston sitting only 7 points back from Gonzalez right now in 3rd. Greg Brockway just a single point back from Cranston in 4th. And then we've got Mike Taylor, another one of our Frito Sport Racing drivers, sitting 8 points back from Greg Brockway, 36 points out of the lead. And Steve Daniel sitting just out of the top 5. And unfortunate for Steve, had a very poor race at Summit Point and dropped 6 positions, or probably dropped 4 positions in the championship. He was sitting in 2nd position coming into the last round. So let's now move over to the pros. And I have a feeling we're going to be here for a little while talking about our pro class tonight, Larry, where Robert Hartley got, I believe, his I believe it was his very first. No, actually, it was his second win of the season 2 weeks ago at Summit Point Raceway. Margin of victory over Not a Team Racing's Rui Coimbra, 63 hundredths of a second. So a little bit closer in the Pro Series, in the Pro class, than it was in AM. John Allen from Seamless Racing, who we're looking at on screen right now, came home in third, with Jordy Fike and Josh Soto. Fike for Esport Racer, Soto for Soto Racing Operations, finishing fourth and fifth. And finishing in sixth position, Travis Schwenke, and he had some contact with I believe it was the number 60 car fairly early on in the race, and that put him back. And also, I believe he had received a time penalty as well, but certainly not the way he wanted that race to finish up. And as we take a look at the point standings now in the Pro class going into our final race of the season, you can see how that affected him. He managed, Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing managed to hold on to the lead in the championship, but he has seen it now drop and dissipate to a single point that separates he and his Orion Racing teammate Robert Hartley, 227 points to 226, and only another 11 points back from there is Mike Dam, also from Orion Racing. Mike Dam had been leading this championship for a good portion of the season, missed the last two outings, and we do have one drop in the series, and well, he needed to take a second, and so he now finds himself in third place, but certainly not out of the championship running. Jordy Fike from Team Esport Racer sitting fourth, with David Payton from D2D sitting in fifth. They are 30 and 12 points back from one another, and 42 and 54 points off the championship. Should be noted also that Brennan Horan, who was our AM category champion, I believe 2 seasons ago, currently sitting back in sixth.
Yeah, well, with those standings being as they are, we are hoping to get a chance to talk to our standings leader, Travis Schwenke, sometime here before we go green flag. That'll be interesting if, he's not all full of nerves and looking for something to settle himself down, because he's in as tight a race as we could imagine with a teammate there with Rob Hartley. But, could be a great battle between those two guys at the end of the night. But if you take a look at our qualifying order so far, there's a couple of spoilers who want to get in the middle of this. One of them, obviously, now is your provisional pole sitter, Nate Nicholson, as we're on board with him right here, sitting on top of the order, trying to get in his fourth lap right now, and doesn't look like he's going to go any quicker as he's slaloming down the turn 2 of the oval.
Not the fast way.
Yeah. But he could easily be a contender for this. He's not really going to be able to come in for the championship standings. He's missed a bunch of rounds, but great to have him back. But he certainly has raw speed to have a chance at this tonight. Another one is Rui Coimbra, who, as you mentioned, just finished so close last week. Probably not much of a chance here in the overall points as he's down 11th. Again, missed a couple rounds, but has the pace to play spoiler here tonight. And I'll throw out another name out there, is one of our guys. I think who it is. Where'd he go? Jordy Fike could throw in a little bit. Yep, he's one of them. So there's a couple of names out there tonight that I think could have something to say, and it may not be only Hartley and Schwenke. There could be some other guys, and there's John Allen, last season's champion, could be a big player here tonight. So this could be great. I mean, it could be 5th and 6th place could ultimately decide this championship if Rob and Travis aren't running for the front.
Yeah, and so if we take a look at some of the permutations here, essentially what you have to have happen is Travis, he essentially has to beat Robert Hartley across the line, and he can actually finish, I believe, given where we stand in the points now, with just a single point separating them, I believe as long as Travis can finish even directly behind Hartley by one position, back to fourth, which is where we then have I think a 2-point gap in the points that we allocate. So if Hartley takes the win and Schwenke finishes second, I think Schwenke will still come home with the championship. If Hartley finishes second and Schwenke finishes third, I think he can still come home with the championship. But once we go back from there, I think is where it gets a little bit murky.
This is all your permutations, and
Yeah.
you run a regression line to this to tell the probabilities of where this is going to all play out. Okay, there'll be a quiz afterward. Don't worry.
It comes down to heat cycles on the tires, apparently.
That's what it will be. But
That's right.
Either way, it's got all sorts of excitement just brewing here because you've got a tight championship that's going to come down to one position between teammates. And about 5 or 6 other guys in this race that are saying, hey, I just want to win this race even if I can't win a championship. And all 6 or 7 of our top runners could be a giant pack for an hour with somebody playing the strategy game of let me sit in second place on that last lap. And I think that will be the fun, is if we've got 2 and 3 and 4 maybe stuck together come at the end, maybe sitting in second or third as you make the 2-car pass for the win. Maybe you don't want to be leading coming out of the bus stop on the last lap.
Well, Larry, here's something to add a little bit more intrigue to this. And thank you, Dennis. You just threw up a little bit more of the order there in the pro category. So we said Nate Nicholson is your provisional pole sitter, and he has completed his 4 flying laps, as we only have about 6 minutes left in qualifying. Robert Hartley has completed his 4 flying laps. He is currently slotted in second position only, as you can see there. I think just a couple of hundredths off the pole, 34 hundredths off. But you need to move back to 5th fastest now is Mike Dam, and Travis Schwenke has finished his 4 flying laps, and he is currently 7th fastest. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to leapfrog him. I think the big question here is John Allen is currently on his 4th and final flying lap. And I know we're following right now Mike Dam. Mike has already finished up his 4. So John Allen, the question is whether or not he can move up from 6th and possibly head up in the 5th.
It would be right here. He looks like this should be the final turn, heading towards start finish. So if he's going to move up and have a shot at the front row start, it's going to be now. And he's the only one that knows if he's on pace.
All right, so here he comes down the short chute towards the finish here. Actually, it's
maybe toward the bus stop.
The bus stop, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the cones there would be kind of a tip off, and here
the lack of a grandstand may have also been a bit of a tip.
Yeah, there's that too. Hey, it's dark out. What do you want from us?
Can you still see the planes landing in the background at night? Because you can during the day here.
Yes, you can.
We'll keep our eye on him. The other name I'm seeing who's entered this session but has not turned a lap is Josh Soto. Another name that could have played spoiler, didn't turn any practice laps either. Wondering if something came up tonight and wasn't able to join, because he easily could have played a spoiler in this mix tonight.
All right, I'll tell you what, Larry. We've got our championship leader as we watch now as John Allen crosses the stripe, and Allen now moves up into 3rd in the number 101 machine, throwing down a 209.15. So a 3-position jump there for John Allen on the last lap. But we've got Travis Schwenke, who is our current championship leader. He's sitting in the green room. Let's bring him in, and let's try and get his thoughts before tonight's final race of the season.
All right, Travis Schwenke is joining us. And Travis, first question, how nervous are you?
I don't know if I'm nervous.
Am I making you nervous now by asking you how nervous
Maybe
you are?
I don't know. It's one of those things, you feel nervous a little bit. You as soon as you start racing, it's all gone, right? I've probably thought about it too much, and thankfully I got up to where I think I needed to be. I had a 0.3 going on one of the laps and spun. I took too much of the corner coming on the banking, and then the tires were hot and it decided to spin again, so I had to restart. Never really got hot tires then, so it's all right. It happens, but I think I'm where I need to be and can start playing a strategy from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the how important is that chess match, that strategy tonight? Maybe even over other tracks and other situations.
It's huge here just because the draft is so huge. I always play a couple different options depending on what happens. I guess I more worry about people that, I think the draft also brings some red mist at times. And I just worry if someone isn't thinking, and dives in late into turn 1 or bus stop, if they have a clean pass, they have a clean pass. But other times it can be sketchy and not thinking about that we're in a championship fight at the same time.
So you get 30 minutes into the race, and it's coming up to pit stop time, and you're in a pack of about 3, and one of them decides to dive in. Do you follow them just so you can come out with a drafting buddy, or do you try and keep going by yourself because your strategy maybe called for a later stop?
Depends on who it was, maybe. So if I'm in a position to see who it is and what they're doing, I know what most people's undrafted pace is here, so you'll be able to judge on that more than anything else. The two car draft works really well. The 3-car works even better, and obviously single car you're kind of a sucker if you have 2 people working together to catch you. So if they start fighting, you're okay. But so I'll just have to play it by ear and see what happens there.
I was going to ask, you guys teammates, you and Rob coming down 1 point apart, Mike just another couple of points back, all these teammates going, is there any side bets any of you guys have between each other, who comes out on top?
I told them before because we were playing the no tires, left sides, right sides, all tires. We were working through that, and I said, well, I'll take lefts, you take rights, and then whoever wins will say that's why. And then Mike, of course, stepped in and said, well, I'll take none. So we'll see what happens.
I like that. Well, I got to say, this could be pretty exciting. 3 teammates coming down, a point between you and Rob. I mean, it doesn't get any closer to this at a track that, boy, if it's anywhere close near the end, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch those closing laps. But good luck tonight. Maybe you'll get an extra little breather here in the next 40 seconds before you're in and try and put on a good show for us.
Sounds good. I will try.
All right. Thanks, Travis Schwenke. Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing, your current championship leader in the pro category. And, Larry, we've gotten a lot of prognosticators sitting in the YouTube chat tonight, like Stubby, and looks like a couple of folks are a little surprised that Josh Soto did not come out and set a qualifying time. They still think he could be a factor in this race.
Well, unfortunately, he didn't take a practice lap either.
Yeah, so looks like we may not have Josh Soto tonight, but if he's starting 26th, he might only be a factor.
If there's one track you could do it, it's this one.
It's this one, exactly. But
qualifying is over.
Yeah, there you go. So let's do this, Larry. Why don't you take the first half of the field? I'll take the bottom half, and we'll get things underway.
All right, sounds good. On the pole position, trying to play spoiler from the Delta Sport outfit, it's Nate Nicholson. On his outside is going to be one of our championship contenders. He needs a point to pass his teammates, Robert Hartley from Orion Racing. On row 2, another potential spoiler, last season's defending champion, John Allen from Seamless Racing. He'll be lined up against the Nada Team Racing's Roy Coimbra. On row 3 on the inside, a D2D e-racing driver, Chris Thorman. He'll be lined up alongside a potential champion if he gets a little help, Mike Dam on the outside. On row 4 on the inside, there he is. We just talked to him, our championship leader right now from Orion Racing, Travis Schwenke, alongside our good old buddy, Bobby Childs. Hope we don't get to talk to him until the end of the night. If we do, it'll be entertaining from D2D e-racing. On row 5 on the inside from Granite State Racing, Tom Rathke. On the outside, another one of our D2D e-racing drivers, David Payton. And then on row 6 on the inside, one of our Nada Team Racing drivers, Jose Gonzalez from the AM category, alongside Jordy Fike from Esport Racer.
All right, so let's move over now, and starting in 13th position, lucky 13, it is Jeff Jacobs from streetsurvival.org in the number 38 machine. Larry, just you were on course with him at Oscoda this past weekend. We'll see how he does back behind the wheel of an MX-5. Paula Coimbra from Not a Team Racing, he's going to start on the outside of row number 7 in 14th. Greg Mack tonight from Team Esport Racer is going to start 15th with the Craney Customs driver, Jeff Cranston, in the number 97 machine, starting in 16th. Starting 17th tonight, Brennan Horn, driver of the number 45 D2D e-racing machine, with Steve Daniel from SKKJ Racing, starting right next to him. Then we've got Edgar Sanchinelli, driver of the number 57 Frito Sport Racing machine. He is currently your AM category championship leader going into the final round. Greg Brockway in the number 62 Frito Sport Racing machine will start right next to his teammate. Then we've got Mike Taylor, also from Frito Sport Racing, driving the number 66 machine. He's going to start 21st tonight, with Russ Ruddick from Flying Tortoise Motorsports starting right next to him. Then we've got John Casey in the number 23 machine with Patrick Provenus starting 24th. Then we've got towards the tail end of the field, Mike Key from Frito Sport Racing. He's going to start 25th this evening.
All right, here we go. Short pace lap through the bus stop and on the banking. It's going to be one exciting start to what's going to be a fun hour-long race here tonight.
Yeah, we're waiting for the field to get packed up here. We do have a real live human calling the start of this race, not that fake virtual iRacing thing. So we'll let you know when we have the green flag. The pace car keeping up its pace of 50 miles per hour here at Daytona, waiting for it to pull down into the pit lane, and it's going to make that very sharp left-hand turn here momentarily as the back end of the field now starting to get gridded up and starting to get packed up. And there you go, pace car on the pit lane, and Nate Nicholson now has the field, and green flag is in the air, and we are underway here from Daytona International Raceway as Nate Nicholson and Robert Hartley move down around the banking, heading down towards turn number 1. And you can see there as Coimbra tries to make the move to the inside. John Allen pushing our pole sitter through just a little bit. Rui Coimbra in that red number 60, not a team machine, losing a position now to Chris Thorman in the number 60, but gets it back. And as they come now down into the hairpin over at the International Horseshoe, taking the lead is Robert Hartley in the number 3 machine. We've got a car that's gone around. I think that's Jose Gonzalez.
I think it's David Payton.
Well, it's a couple drivers, and Craney Customs, Jeffrey Cranston, going around as well at the tail end of the field. He's going to drop back, and wouldn't you know, I think Greg Mack having some issues there as well. And looks like he is off course, the number 2 machine. If he didn't have any luck, didn't have any bad luck, he'd have no luck at all there on some of the starts. He's just been caught out with some bad luck here almost every round of this season as Robert Hartley jumps to his early lead as they come onto the oval out of the infield. Nate Nicholson, our pole sitter, right behind John Allen, about 3, we'll call it 4 car lengths back from there with Rui Coimbra and Mike Dam. Travis Schwenke still sitting in 7th, hasn't been able to make up any position since the start of the race.
Here comes the bump drafting. Already in lap 1, they're just about doing it. You get a good shot there, Coimbra behind John Allen. And already a draft pass for the lead as Nicholson gets back around Hartley. And Hartley says, yeah, that's how we're going to play this. You don't sit there and try and block. No sense for it. Oh, look, incident review happening there between the 09, I believe, of Fike, if I got that right, and the 83 of Gonzalez. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, you watch them now. A lot of this is coordinated. This is that co-opetition, sometimes a great word to use, because if somebody's got a great run on them, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to let them go by because actually that's the faster way to go. As you can see, Coimbra getting a run around John Allen, as Allen's got some drafts, so it's not so easy. But here they look at him just bunch up down the front straight.
Yeah, and this is the one place, we always talk, Larry, about using strategy, trying to separate yourselves out from the rest of the pack early on. And here at Daytona, just a touch of battle, a little bit of side by side going through a corner is going to bring some, in many cases, 5, 6, 7 cars up into the fight. So you can see here already at the front of the pack as John Allen's trying to sneak underneath our pole sitter Nate Nicholson, coming down through turn 3 through the international hairpin there, and then making the run down towards turn 5. And you see there now still battling it out, but we still have a huge pack here running about 10 cars deep. And it's just once you get on the oval, if you lose a little bit of pace coming onto the oval there, you're going to end up dragging about 15 cars up to you.
In watching this, it's moments of scary. It's a little dark. The lighting is different. If you're used to running wheel-to-wheel with these MX-5s, it looks different running a track at night. I've done a few of these at Spa. They'll run night races and whatnot. We got another incident under review. That looks like the Greg Mack and 45 of Brennan Horn. But some of these, everything looks a little bit different. And all of a sudden you get a few different break points. Everybody breaks at slightly different points. And it just starts to get very hairy, very, very pucker factory. Yes. is what I end up seeing. It's really kind of a frightening thing. Now you watch them go into the back straight. Everybody's got to decide, do they just lift and save the fuel? Not a bad strategy. Or go ahead and plunge on by and get yourself the pass and be the first one into that bus stop. A lot of these guys looking to just stay in line right now and maybe try and save a little bit of fuel and see how this race plays out, as we get a good shot there of Mike Dam sitting in 5th. But this pack of cars is probably everybody right now. All 23 or so still on track.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there's any clear leader at this point. Although Robert Hartley is he's opened up about a 0.3 of a second advantage over the rest of the field. I think we're going to start to see that go away. And as a matter of fact, there you go. As we now see Nicholson come draft right back up to Hartley. Hartley's going to drop back now. Part of that, I'm wondering, as Hartley had opened up at one point about 10 car lengths on the rest of the pack. I'm wondering if he's thinking, well, you know, I'm the only one here not saving fuel out of, you know, 20 plus other cars, and maybe chose to fall back just a little bit.
Well, here we are on lap 3, International Horseshoe, and it looks like lap 1 because they're all still pack up, pair up, as they say. Nobody has been able to do anything, and it seems that they're single file coming out of the bus stop. By the time they get to turn 1, they're side by side, and they're doing the entire infield, both horseshoes, as matched pairs, like a parade of Noah's Ark, all loading up, 2 by 2.
2 by 2. And Larry, I would suspect that it will probably be like this, probably to the point where we have our pit stops. All right, we're taking a look here, and under review, the 45 and the 78 cars. So Brennan Horn have really exciting first couple laps. I think he got together with John Casey, and Casey's in the pits right now getting some repairs. So again, very challenging first couple laps for Brennan Horn.
Well, I'm watching here to see, does Coimbra actually bump to the back of Hartley? It's tough to do on the banking. Not very stable, but once you get to the flatter back straight, there is opportunities for some bumping. If these guys were able to practice side by side, there are ways you can on the oval, but you got to be super careful.
Yes.
Easy to pit maneuver somebody if you catch them wrong, because there's a lot of bouncing around this track. You don't always see it, especially with these softer sprung, almost stock type of cars. But yeah, there's a lot of bouncing, and all it takes is they get a little light is to get up underneath somebody and try and do a bump draft. Suddenly you find out that you just caused a 14-car pileup. Hey, look who's in the frame.
The big one in MX-5.
Look who's in the frame.
It's Josh Soto.
It is.
And we're showing Soto now up into 9th position.
18 places up since the start of this race. I tell you what, Stubby and the gang online was not wrong.
Yeah, most mint in the chat there. I think he had it spot on.
I didn't mean to give Stubby credit. Hey, Stubby.
Yeah, sorry, Stubby.
Glad you're watching, but you gotta pick a different horse.
He's always rooting for Bobby Childs. You know that. Who, everybody by the way, is currently your AM category leader, sitting back in 9th position. Part of this lead pack. He's in there somewhere. There he is.
Yeah, he's right there behind his teammate, but in the pro category, Chris Thorman.
Yeah, there's the 88 machine.
We had our chance, of course, if you do watch all of the Ricmotech series, we had a chance to have Bobby in the booth with us last week during the sports car race, and that's always a good time. He was looking forward to tonight for sure.
Yeah, he was. He doesn't love racing the front engine cars as much as those rear engine Ferraris, but yeah, he was definitely looking forward to the excitement here, and so far, Larry, from what we're seeing, I mean, this is much like we expected. Yeah.
But look at this. Look at Soto again, starting at the back. Now he's making the move on Allen, who started on the second row. And there's Soto up to 5th, right in this mix. This is an amazing first 4 laps for Josh Soto. It helps to be a little aggressive. We know he's got that reputation of being an aggressive driver. And tonight, the aggression is working. He's picking off cars left and right, working his way up. He might be able to, at least at one point tonight, get from worst to first throughout the course of this 1-hour race.
And you know, just watching him back behind Mike Dam as he passed John Allen, he just looked as though he was shot out of a cannon and picked up almost 3 car lengths on Mike Dam. That is how strong the draft is here.
Look how strong the draft is right there for Mike Dam behind 3 of them.
Yeah.
Large hole in the wind.
And Josh Soto taking advantage of that now too. Is look how quickly Josh Soto just slingshots past 3 cars now and he is alongside Robert Hartley going down into turn 1.
4 laps to go from dead last, 25th place, to the lead of the race for Josh Soto and Soto Racing Operations. That's impressive.
And you saw that there as he got around Mike Dam, just slingshot past 4 cars as if they were standing still. And so Josh Soto now is your leader. Robert Hartley running in second. Nate Nicholson, our pole sitter tonight, in the red and black hardpoint car, the 56 car. He is sitting in third with John Allen, Mike Dam, and we're looking at Rui Coimbra right now sitting in sixth. He started fourth this evening, but you know, I wouldn't put too much stock in that. At least one of those positions was given up to Josh Soto. But
Coimbra there looked like he had almost banged doors with Mike Dam as they came out of the International Horseshoe. They seem to be, you know, able to continue, but boy, they came awfully close to rubbing coming out of there. All this side-by-side stuff, and all it takes is the inner car to slip a little bit of the outer one to have a little bit of a sidestep, and it could all be lost in tears.
And you see John Allen there taking the high line, coming out of the infield, out of turn 6. Over by
try a slingshot or just stay in behind, maybe sip some fuel. Probably keep an eye on Coimbra behind him to see if Coimbra's not making a run, then he'll take the opportunity to sip a little bit of fuel. Everybody staying in line into the bus stop. But look at, if you hadn't watched many of these races, look how much meat they take on those apexes across that bus stop. I know they did the same thing in the endurance cars we do here. That's half the fun of that bus stop, is just chucking it in, and how quickly can you get the car to rotate and get back on it, because you got another, you know, 2/3 of a mile of straightaway to get down to turn 1.
And this is where we're going to start to see the draft kick in once again, as you see here. You know, and I don't think it's worthwhile calling who our leader is at this point, because we've got Soto, Hartley, and Nicholson. They have now swapped positions 4 times since this lap started, since we started lap number 6, and we're now on lap number 7, as we are only just a bit over 10 minutes into this 60-minute race.
3 wide going through turn 1 there with Dam on the left. Soto was in the middle. Nicholson was on the right. Soto now on the inside, deciding he didn't want to be in the middle anymore. Enough of that Jan Brady stuff. He wants to be all the way on the inside. and it's just amazing to watch these guys shuffling left and right, and it just did a beautiful chorus. It's awesome. Jan Brady.
Yes. That's all right. Dennis and I were talking about Leave It to Beaver earlier. Barbara Billingsley.
Excuse me, I speak jive.
Yeah, that's it. That's where it came from. All right. So we have right now sitting in the lead Robert Hartley with Nicholson and Soto. Your top 3, Travis Schwenke, who had been passed a moment ago by Chris Thorman, is taken back 7th position, and he's got John Allen in that blue Seamless Racing 101 car right ahead of him.
And I'm just waiting for this to settle down. We're almost a quarter of the way through this race, and nothing has settled. It seems to be aggression is the strategy of choice by everybody. Typically, it's a couple of guys, and a few are conservative. Maybe Coimbra's being the conservative one here. Maybe even points leader Travis Schwenke is still sitting in 7th. But boy, this front 5 are just side by side at every chance. Here they are. Again, single file into the bus stop. By the time we get to start finish, it'll be 3 wide. And then it's just who got the better run, who wants to be braver on the brakes into 1 to try and hold the lead for a little bit. I can tell you, everyone's going to get a chance to get the lead a lap bonus point here tonight.
Yeah, yes. Well, actually, I don't know about that, Larry, because we've seen a lot of lead changes, but we haven't seen many people. We haven't seen many changes when they finally cross the start-finish line.
So, from my unofficial count, I think Nicholson's gotten one, Hartley's gotten one. I think Soto got one when they started lap 5. So at least 3 different. Coimbra might have also had a shot at that, but hey, why not? You know, just push your way up there for 1 lap, get your bonus point, and then settle back in.
And you know, this is something we did not take into account, or I didn't take into account with my handy dandy spreadsheet, Larry, as Travis Schwenke is sitting back, and you know, of course, he's going to have to get up a lot closer to Robert Hartley anyhow, but with Schwenke's not having led a lap yet, that changes the calculations just a little bit. When I said he could finish, you know, right behind Robert Hartley and still hold on to the championship. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Did you put that into your whole spreadsheet? Because bonus points is, I guess, a maximum number of bonus points you can collect throughout the season.
That's
Is
true.
either one of them actually accumulated that? That's a big deal. Then there's potential for penalties.
My head hurts.
And then you got your thirds and fourths because, at the end of the day, it's a total accumulated points, not just numbers of wins. Oh, yeah, we're going to be on pins and needles at the end of this one, waiting for Kevin Ford and Jeff Jacobs and the gang to actually go through the calculations to figure out who wins this thing. But for now, we're going to enjoy the next 46 minutes.
Wow. All right, so got a little word from a birdie that, and we see now that Steve Daniel, driver of the number 96 machine, sitting back in 11th in the AM category, he needed to pit in, and by the way, so his championship aspirations over the last 2 weeks have taken huge hits as he had that horrible race at Summit Point. And apparently he took the green tonight without setting his race fuel. And he went out on track with about 4 laps worth of fuel.
That's been done before. We've all done that when you play the game of min fuel in the car. Every once in a while you forget, oh yeah, I need to put fuel back in it in order to run my 60-minute race. We got the battle here. This is Bobby Childs, the AM leader still.
Yeah,
I believe
and
that's
Bobby
Paulo.
sitting 8th overall in the 88 machine. You can see there he's got Travis Schwenke sitting on his bumper there. But right now, Childs has 3 pro category drivers between he and our second place driver in class, and that's Paulo Coimbra.
You can see Paulo right there in the back of the shot.
Yeah,
there are
not
several
far back.
drivers, but he's right there.
Yeah.
So close when they're side by side here through the international ownership. And there's a good shot of Paulo. You can see just the 3 cars up there. He's, of course, got Jordy Fike, I think they're in the 09. Tom Rathke in front of him.
The black car, yeah.
And then your championship pro class leader there, Schwenke, all the way back in 9th overall right now.
Yeah, he's lost.
Whoa,
he lost it. Oh wow!
Dive there by Coimbra. He is the late
on
breaker.
the brakes. Yes.
That'll stir your coffee.
Oh my! As they come down into the kink here and come onto the front, or probably come back out onto the oval over by turn 6. Yeah, very late into turn 5 into that second hairpin was Coimbra.
That'll definitely wake you up. We'll see if that changes his break point on subsequent laps going into the
you might want to back that up a little bit.
Might want to. But there's Soto. Josh having, again, we said, started at back of the pack, currently in 4th, right in the mix of all this with Nicholson, Hartley, and Coimbra in front of him. Ooh, as Bobby gets into the back of Thorman.
Thorman goes and Thorman goes into the grass just before the bus stop. And we'll see, and he's able to rejoin. He's going to lose a number of positions there. Did not impact the wall. There is that infield wall over there, but he is back underway. But let's take a look at the replay, Larry.
A little different breaking point is Chris Thorman now. Looks like he's kind of set up, and everybody checks up. A bunch of accordion going on, and Bobby gets caught out. Schwenke, look at the conservative nature, just staying back. He was behind in a good view of this. Great recovery by Thorman. I saw a little video clip today of a Porsche doing that at the ring, and I think Thorman might have seen the same video and able to recover, get right back in. Probably got a course cut penalty, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably ended up having to get out of the throttle anyhow.
But, hey, better to save it and have to deal with a 1-second penalty than to lose the car to the guardrail. So, good save there for Thorman.
Yeah, so Thorman now falls back to 13th overall, 11th in pro.
Again, 2 wides everywhere. Again, it's the aggressor, Josh Soto, on the outside of John Allen. Everybody just kind of pushing through. Don't want because I think they must be afraid. If you lose 1 spot, you might lose 4. Let's just go side by side so we don't have to lose any. And here they are, even in the kink in the infield, side by side. And the incident will be reviewed, as we were talking about between Bobby and Chris. Man, this is just tight racing. As Allen now at the inside of Hartley. This turn here is always one of the hardest to be, though. It turns out back onto the oval off the infield. Really tough to judge the breaking point, but it also dictates it's like the bus stop. It leads you on to the longest straightaway in the track. So critical in the corner for making passes to get to the bus stop. And here you go. Bump. Yeah, you got the bump draft
bump.
happy going on.
Yeah, there you go. As we see there's Josh Soto pushing Robert Hartley past John Allen.
And you'll get 0x's if you see those if you're a driver in iRacing. All the 0x does is if you're on a qualifying lap, it will negate it, but it does not actually add up to any kind of an incident point for you. So that's good, but it helps you in these situations. This is what you were talking about at the opening. Back in the old days when they ran MX-5s here at Daytona a couple of times, it was always the question of what's faster, by yourself, 2 cars, 3 cars, 4 cars, and the more cars, if they coordinate that bump drafting, can be faster because the back cars push the front cars.
Yeah, and you could see here, Larry, in some of the cases when these drivers are coming out of the infield where there will be 6 or 7 car lengths separating them. And now here, just watch John Allen and the 3 cars behind him, how he's able to draft right back up to the back of Josh Soto there in seemingly 2 to 3 seconds.
Oh, I was looking at their speeds. We've got the speeds here on our timing software. He was about 6 miles an hour faster than the leader Hartley was without anybody in front of him. So that gives you a pretty good run when you've got some extra speed gathering up to that front group.
All right, and so the stewards have spoken. Bobby Child's going to be assessed a 5-second post-race penalty for his incident with Chris Thorman.
And 30 lashes the wet noodle there on the DTD.
Yes.
Door to door.
That's
dent
right.
to
That's
dent.
right. We heard that's
As
the
Bobby
yeah.
says.
That's exactly what he says.
Yep, Bobby now being a part of it. Look at these guys again. Soto on the outside. I think he and Allen have been side by side for the better part of the last 2 laps, and now it looks like the 93 of Dam wants to get in there as well.
Yeah, and Mike Dam, he's been kind of bottled up behind John Allen and Josh Soto for a good portion of this race. He hasn't been able to find his way through, but he may be looking, Larry, when you have 2 or 3 cars ahead of you putting that big giant hole in the air, for now maybe the strategy is indeed take advantage of the draft. Don't use all of the right pedal and try to shorten up your pit stop at the end.
Pit stops will be very interesting here tonight. But I want to make note, when we have these races in these cars, when does the pack break away? That moment is 20 minutes into the race. The pack broke away. How big is the pack? 13 cars. We're nose to tail within 5 seconds from Hartley currently in the lead back to about Jeff Jacobs is about 5 seconds. And then there's a break of about 4 seconds before you get to this battle right now of Edgar Sancinelli trying to stay ahead of
his teammate, Mike Taylor.
Yeah. Teammates need to have coordinated paint schemes. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Got to work on that, guys. Not sure which one. Maybe they can blend these a little bit.
All right, let's see. We've got a couple cars peeling off. Mike Dam comes down the pit lane. Tom Rathke and Jeff Jacobs as well. But big story there. Mike Dam, who was sitting in, I believe, in 5th position, now coming in for his mandatory pit stop. And a lot of drivers coming in now as well. Looks like
he missed his pit box.
And he has to back up. And, he did tell Schwenke he wasn't going to take any tires, which we know now is absolutely not true as we see that.
The strategic right sides.
Yes. So we'll see as Mike Dam will be coming out in just a moment. Now, again, all of our drivers will likely need to take a pit stop tonight, or either that or they're doing an amazing job of fuel saving. We suspect that they can do a maximum of about 18 laps on a full fill of fuel.
So here's my thought on the strategy here by Mike Dam. Separating from the pack and doing this on your own, that pack was getting pretty dicey. You can see it. We're still side by side, 3 wides, and their lap times aren't great. A couple guys are cracking, like the ones who get the draft are getting into the mid 209s. The ones that don't are sitting in the 210s. And I think his thought is he can run 210s by himself or 209s by himself without the risk of the door-to-door 3 wides. This will be interesting if anybody else this next time by decides to maybe follow Mike, knowing that there's a Mike Dam out there that you could draft buddy with, because suddenly if he has one draft buddy, they could be dangerous.
And want to welcome Giancarlo Schooler to the chat. Giancarlo, he probably ought to be out here next season, starting in 3 weeks. Just saying there, son.
Hey, World Challenge coming back.
That's right. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little while. here. But once again, sitting at the front of the pack, we've got Robert Hartley currently running second in the championship, and Nate Nicholson, our pole sitter this evening, battling it out for the lead with John Allen. And he saw there for a second, it looked like Allen. He said, "Oh, I might be able to pick the middle lane." But he's not going to have that opportunity as Robert Hartley now pits in from the lead. Soto is in, Schwenke is in, Jordy Fike is in, Chris Thorman in as well, as they are all pitting one lap after Mike Dam.
All right, so now we've got packs. Let's see, because we know that Dam missed his pit stop, and these guys look like they've hit theirs. That's good. Will that hurt him when these guys come back out and try to match up with him? And now you've got a Nicholson, Allen, Coimbra, and the other Coimbra, Paulo. You got Rui and Paulo all together now in that front four. There they are. Do these guys decide now that the pack's smaller, do they stay out longer, maybe get closer to that 40-minute mark when they have to stop? That'll be interesting because you could have two competing packs trying to keep an eye on deltas to see if they can come back together. Or do they just go ahead and put the band back together here in the next lap and see what happens? There is Hartley.
And here we go as they come out of the pit lane, and it's that long pit exit here as they will come out right after the little bend at turn 2 and head down to the hairpin. And there's Dam, and Dam loses a position to his Orion teammate Travis Schwenke.
Missing his pit box, though. He's lucky they didn't lose anymore.
No.
He's right back where he needs to be, which is in the pack. But I'm wondering if that's what he wanted. Going back to my earlier comment, did he really want a little bit of solitude to just run clean laps? But now he's back into a pack of about 6.
Yeah, probably wasn't expecting everybody else to come in one lap later, as John Allen now drafts up to the lead as they head into the bus stop here, working lap number 12. And we think based on the lap times, and they're running, as you mentioned, Larry, maybe a little bit off of the times they were running earlier this week. Interesting to note that some of our drivers, Rathke, Thorman, Fike, they're some of our fastest drivers on course here this evening. Also Paulo Coimbra. But we think that this should go somewhere around 27 laps, maybe 28. But given the times of the front running cars, I'm leaning on probably 27 at this point.
Oh, these guys are so close. Really got to watch how close they are going down these high speed. And I say high speed, it's about 139, 140 mile an hour with a little bit of draft. But for these cars, as light as they get with no downforce, it gets pretty hairy. All it takes is the wrong breeze, and these things will go sliding away.
And it's like John Carlos says he's signing up right now, and he better not be lying to me, or I'll take it out on I'll take it out on him at some point on Labor Day.
Yeah, Stubby, you tell him you want to make sure he signs up. You don't want anybody
right.
just cheating us here. But look at this pack again. Again, it's Schwenke playing the conservative game tonight. Just sitting back, watching this, staying within striking distance. He's right there in this group with Soto and Hartley and Dam. Thorman also right in this group. So it's a good group to be with considering his teammates. I'm sure he's got thousands of hours side by side with these guys. And we'll see soon if Nicholson, Allen, Coimbra, and Coimbra decide to join this pack, or do they just see if they can get some separation.
The law firm of Coimbra and Coimbra.
Coimbra and Allen.
Senior partner being Rui and junior partner being Paulo. But the other part of this, Larry, is after those pit cycles, certainly Mike Dam did not have a great time on the pit lane, but Travis Schwenke, who had been sitting back as far as 7th position prior to the pit stops, and about 4 cars back from Robert Hartley, now sitting right back behind Robert Hartley, where I suspect he is going to stalk the number 3 car probably until the checkered flag comes out this evening.
As you did allude to, if he beats Hartley, he should have this. So that's got to be his strategy. Stay ahead of Rob, whether he takes left tires, right tires, or no tires. We didn't see how many tires Travis took.
No.
But we'll see how that plays out. But they are clearly, as we talked about, there's so many spoilers in this. Those 2 guys, Schwenke and Hartley, are not the only ones in this field. As you can see, Soto right in there. Of course, Mike Dam. Honestly, if Mike Dam gets a breakaway and something happens between Hartley and Schwenke, there could be another possible champion in this mix. It may not strictly be a Schwenke and Hartley battle. There's a few more have come into the pits there in the AM category. Santinelli, Brockway, and Taylor all currently in the pits, as is Bobby Childs, who's been there for a little while.
Yeah, he's been there.
Been there about 4 minutes.
Yeah, maybe nobody told him that post-race penalty was a post-race penalty.
Schwenke stuck like glue to Hartley now. Maybe even try to push him a little bit. Side by side even with the championship contenders in through turn 1. What's going through their mind right now? How aggressive do they want to be on each other knowing what's at stake? Mike Dam, does he want to play spoiler, or does he want to maybe at least protect his boys and try to get in front of Tom Rathke right now, because he's kind of next to him?
I was just going to say, forget what's going through their minds. What's Tom Rathke thinking?
How do I get around these Orion
split?
boys?
Yeah.
Like a 7-10 split. You know, the Orions look like bowling pins, and I'm just saying Rathke's got the black bowling ball ready to wreck.
Exactly.
Sorry, Tom. I know you're going to watch the replay, and nothing to do with your driving, but your color scheme works perfect. And Jordy Fike right in there as well in this train, and Chris Thorman should be right behind Jordy.
And indeed, he is the number 16 machine, back up now into 12th position, having that earlier coming together with the 88 of Childs.
He would love to get a little bit of draft and stick with that pack as well, because again, at this point, anyone in the top 10, after pit stops has probably got a shot at this. Last 15 minutes is going to be just bazookas. It's going to be crazy watching everybody really going for position, because I have a feeling, and we can watch this a little bit, I have a feeling that you're going to want to be in second place going into the bus stop the last lap, but
on the
potentially
last lap, but maybe even
third place.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so Paulo Coimbra pits in from the lead in the AM category. And that is going to move Jeff Cranston, who had his early race issues with some other drivers. Now moves Cranston up into the lead.
A little bit of bump drafting going on. Try and stay with that pack. It's Jordy Fike on Tom Rathke, trying to make sure they don't lose him. They're about a half a second back, which is close enough for striking distance. Into turn 1. Soto still playing the spoiler. So where is Coimbra? Where is Coimbra?
Yeah, I'm not seeing the red number 30. There he is.
Roy has not.
Yeah, he has not pitted in yet, and he is sitting there right off the back of Allen and Nicholson.
It was Paulo Coimbra who did stop.
He did pit, yes. Paulo pitted in last lap from the lead in AM.
He did not have a great stop, it looks like, because he's about 5 seconds behind Chris Thorman, who is at this pack now with the Orion boys and with Josh Soto and all of them. But I don't think Paulo's pit stop was as good. Just put him a little bit further back. So now we've got the fight of Nicholson, Allen, and Coimbra. At some point, those three have got to stop.
As Peyton and Cranston swap positions going into the bus stop. Again, Cranston currently your leader in AM. As we jump back to our overall leaders, John Allen, Roy Coimbra, and Nate Nicholson, who now slots into third. And Larry, as we're looking back through the, I'm looking back through the pack here, and pretty drastic difference here for drivers that are in the draft versus not in the draft. The drivers that have fallen out of the draft are almost 2.5 seconds a lap off the pace of those who have draft mates here at Daytona. I mean, it's really spectacular. I mean, you can talk about with almost any type of tin top car here at Daytona. I look back to the in the Sports Car Club of America, they had their championships, their runoffs here at Daytona in 2015, and in the Super Touring Light category, driver that was leading coming out of the bus stop on the very last lap finished all the way back in 5th position, just because, and I mean, and it was all within like 400 feet of the finish line, where 4 cars just drove right on past them.
Yeah, and I think we're probably going to see that same thing. But I'm curious about these 3 now because they seem to be working very well together with Alan, Rui Coimbra, and Nate Nicholson, all with great speed, currently running low 209s. These guys might be waiting until their fuel is gone before they come in, and with a shot then to be ahead of that other pack.
All right, well, Larry, we know that, as we said, that we think the drivers can get somewhere around 17, maybe 18 laps on fuel. Let's stick with our leaders right now, as we're currently running lap 16, and hopefully they'll go into the pits, but we'll see exactly what happens here, and maybe once they go in, we'll break for our one commercial break here, as John Allen for the moment breaks away just a little bit from the 56 machine in Nicholson, and let's see if he starts pointing the car down towards the pit lane.
Does not look like it.
No, not this time by. And right now we've got I think 6 cars remaining that have not pitted in. Jeffrey Cranston, our sole driver in the AM category. Oh,
Thorman's off again.
Yep. And Nicholson, Allen, Coimbra into the have not taken stops yet. Looks like
and this looks like Tom
Rathke
Rathke and Chris Thorman. This is what Thorman was doing. Again, struggles at the bus stop. Last time it was with Bobby Childs. This time he's in that.
Oh yeah.
He's on that inside. Yep, in that difficult blind spot there on the inside of Rathke.
And it looks like Rathke got the wall that time.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, a lot of damage there. Looks like he's going to be spending a lot of time in the pit lane. All right, so now as we jump over to Hartley and Soto, we assume that once Nicholson, Allen, Coimbra head to the pits, that this group will be probably part of that lead pack in the end here, as Soto right in the middle of the Orion Racing sandwich. Again, great run from Soto, starting at the tail end of the field tonight, starting in, I believe, 25th position, and made his way all the way up into the top 5 in a matter of 4 laps. Again, amazing what you can do with the draft here at Daytona. It was a great run, and he has kept up with our lead pack ever since.
Yeah, and he's certainly a player in this race. For a minute there, we weren't even sure if he was going to join the session to even be running tonight without turning any practice laps or any qualifying laps. But great to see it, because he's thrown himself right in the middle of it with a chance to maybe even steal a win here in this race. These guys also looking to try and take the gold here tonight. Nate Nicholson, John Allen, look at them work together. One comes up, draft, they let the drafting car go underneath to get the run. In fact, they're doing the triple swap here, where the lead guy pulls out of the way and lets the other 2 go by. This is there's no teams among these 3.
No, but it's a nice little ballet that they're doing here.
Yeah.
As none of the 3 drivers come down the pit lane for the pit stop. They all dive down into turn 1. Now with John Allen, your leader, Coimbra, and your pole sitter, Nate Nicholson, running 3rd. And as we thought that perhaps they could get about 18 laps on fuel, Larry, perhaps
stick with them for this lap. This could be it.
This could be it, and we'll see where they are and where they come out. I know we can't stick here much longer.
I think it's worth sticking it out. It's about a 42-second gap between Allen back to that pack we're watching. Hartley, Schwenke, and Dam, those 3 Orion teammates, kind of leading that charge there with Josh Soto and Jordy Fike just a little bit behind them, but it's really the Hartley, Schwenke, Dam, Soto battle, alongside with this 3-way, of course, with Allen, Coimbra, and Nicholson. It's going to be fascinating who has been faster over the last 5-6 laps or so since the other group had actually pitted.
It's so amazing to watch as all 3 of these drivers take such drastically different lines coming out of the infield, going on to the oval, and you could see at least that time by where Nicholson, I think, went a little bit deeper on the brakes and actually started to run out of room driver's right, and perhaps didn't get the jump out of the infield, but you could see here how the draft will make up for that by the time you get down to the bus stop, as he's now only about a half a car length back. But I really neat to watch these cars, and you know how that draft can in many cases cure evils here as they come out of the bus stop and make their way now around what would be IndyCar 3 and 4.
See what they do here. Is it looking like possibly diving in?
Yeah, it looks like
1 out of 3.
Nicholson is. Yeah, I was going to say Nicholson was trying to get his nose underneath John Allen, I think, and find his way to the pit lane. And there we go. So the 56 car now on the pit lane. He was your pole sitter. Both Allen and Coimbra are going to go at least one more lap. And so
These
let's
guys
see.
Are also pitting.
Yep. And so now coming in are Peyton, Cranston, and Brennan Horan.
So the only two that have not pit are Allen and Coimbra. Now remember, at the start of this race, Allen and Coimbra were just sort of playing around up there. Nicholson was the guy fighting for the lead there with Hartley and fighting with Soto when he got up there. I wonder if these two were able to save enough fuel to get an extra lap the other guys couldn't get.
Well, we're gonna find out in a moment here.
Because we know John Allen's also been known to push his fuel loads.
So here is, and let's take a look here as Cranston, who pitted in from the lead in the AM category. We'll see where he comes out, and it looks like Paulo Coimbra is going to come back out in the lead, or is going to retake the lead from Cranston, as Cranston's just now getting underway. Cranston likely to rejoin the action in second position in AM.
Nicholson right with that other pack, so that's an indicator that Allen and Coimbra could be destined for the same outcome, as you can see right there. Nicholson alongside Soto. Now, the advantage these guys have here by stopping later, fresher tires.
Fresher tires, exactly.
Yeah, their tires get a few less laps on them when they come down to that last 59th minute and that last lap of this race. So might be an advantage for Nicholson, Allen, and Coimbra over Mike Dam, who was the first of the stoppers, and certainly then Soto and Schwenke and Hartley, who had stopped about a lap after him.
All right, and as this pack now coming back out onto the oval, and we've got both Allen and Coimbra about 40 seconds up ahead. Let's track them as they are now going to be making their way down and heading towards turn 1. And let's see if one of them heads for the pit lane. John Allen, he's fading in, and here they come. Both of our leaders, John Allen and Rui Coimbra, head to the pit lane.
About execution now. It's hitting your pit box. Don's trying to find his. It's about hitting your pit box and knowing exactly how much fuel you need to be able to get out of there efficiently and making sure that you have got the right tire change.
Oh, and John Allen overshoots the box.
Whoa,
and
he
Allen
just
has to back up into the box, and there you go, up into the air, taking 2 tires at least, is going to be the number 30 machine.
I'm wondering if Allen's not taking any to try and get out faster.
Well, and
after
all 4 tires for
Coimbra. 4.
And John Allen still sitting on the ground there, getting the fuel in, and there you go. John Allen, even with the missing his box, is going to get out ahead of Coimbra. Not all that much though. I mean, only a couple of car lengths. Let's see where John Allen rejoins, however. And of course, John Allen not taking any tires. It's gonna be a tough fight for him at the end of this race.
And he's got the lead for about a moment before. It looks like Rob Hartley's gonna stick his nose on the inside and hold that line. And just like we were 20 minutes ago or whatever when these pit stops started, it's a pack of about 7 cars right there on your screen.
There you go. All right, so Larry, let's do this. Let's now take a quick break, thank some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll bring you all the action here from Daytona all the way up to the checkered flag for the finale of season 21 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
And welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for round 9, the season finale of this 21st season of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, you know, we're discussing at the break here, you know, the options that John Allen had, whether he, even if he hadn't missed his pit stall and didn't take any tires, what kind of an advantage he would have had. He probably would have come out in the lead, but most likely, I think, much like we watch now, you know, whatever advantage he probably would have had, which would, you know, probably be like a second and a half, 2 seconds, would have been gobbled up by the time they got to the bus stop.
You would have probably needed almost 10 seconds because the pack of 2 or 3 are going to run faster than a car by itself around this place, especially if they work well together. And we've seen a lot of really good coordinating going on between some of these guys. And certainly the teammates of Hartley and Schwenke and Dam would have worked well to close any gaps. So at that point, Allen just needed to make sure he stayed with the pack. But interestingly, though, what I see is you get different tire strategies among these now breakaway 7. John Allen didn't take any. Most of the cars behind him took outsides only, the right sides only.
Yeah.
But I think it was Coimbra right behind Allen who took all 4. So you've got different strategies. Will that help them? Especially Coimbra now, he can maybe make outside passes through the infield horseshoes, which are both those right-handers with good left side tires. Whereas Allen may struggle down there. He's going to need draft come the end of this race. He's going to need to do it on strategy. And we're going to watch him do it 3 wide into turn 1.
3 wide going into 1. As Allen turns in late, comes down the inside. Robert Hartley trying to find a way around Nate Nicholson. And we have to always look back to see where that number 16 machine is of Travis Schwenke, as he is now side by side with his teammate Hartley coming into the International Horseshoe.
He's been conservative all night. He hasn't pushed it. He was behind one wreck that we saw when Childs ran into Thorman, and he was able to back off and not get involved. We've seen a couple spots where he's not really pushing, but I think now with less than 15 to go, he's going to start pushing a little bit. He knows he's got to stay in this top 5 or so. And as you and I were talking, I think the position to be in on the last lap is 3rd.
Yeah.
I think you can make a double pass, depending on how good a run you get out of the bus stop. You can make a double pass out of the bus stop for the win. I don't know if you could do that from 4th.
I don't think you can do it. Well, you know, we saw Soto early on in the race make that move, but actually he made that move going down into turn 1,
because that's
it was
the flag
after
stripe.
you passed the
Exactly.
after you
The
finished
checker
the
flag
stripe.
stand is you've got a long run after the stand into 1, so sometimes it's deceiving how much run you get. Soto's also now running against the best of the best, and look at this, he's able to get by 2 on the back straight, but I'm not sure you can get by 3 from 4th to 1st on this run here. Let's keep our eye on Hartley as he's in that position, that 4th, and Soto's in the 3rd. Where are they at the stripe?
And might also add, as we do watch this, that the number 60 machine of Thorman assigned a probably a drive-through penalty, not a post race, but a drive-through penalty here this evening for that incident going into the bus stop with Chris Rathke.
And, well, I'm watching the stripe here. There's Soto, there's Hartley. Started this coming out of the bus stop in 3rd and 4th. And they're not able to get to that lead. It's Coimbra all the way up into there, just about outbreaks the field with those fresh tires.
And you know, Larry, I think the other part of this, especially if you think, well, can you do something from 4th? You have to. That's also assuming that everybody's going to be all lined up in a row coming out of the bus stop on the final lap, and they won't be exactly. And we just saw that on that last sequence where there wasn't anywhere for Hartley to go.
You know what? And you've called a lot of races of these kinds of cars, and you've seen it at draft tracks around the U.S. You know, I think about a place like Road America, where you've got that last turn, an uphill straight, where sometimes you need a buddy. You're going to need help. You need somebody to push you. You need somebody willing to lock in behind you and give you that shove, knowing that maybe they're not going to win the race. Who's given the shove, the guy getting the shove might actually be the one to win. That kind of thing may happen here, especially if they come out too wide, like you're saying. There may be 2 pushers and 2 leads, and maybe, you know, one of those pairs gets by and finishes first and second, or maybe they wipe them all out and the car in 7th ends up taking the win.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. It may end up that way. I mean, you think of your typical NASCAR oval racing here, where you've got one lane, and you know you have the pusher, and you leave somebody out to dry, and
out in the groove. You don't want to get out of the groove late in the race.
No. God. All right. As Rui Coimbra, currently our leader, and just amazing to watch as they what it takes to get those cars rotated, not only to come out of the bus stop, but just to get into the bus stop with the speed that they're carrying off that oval. Absolutely amazing here as we watch John Allen and Rui Coimbra now side by side.
Yeah, and again, Allen and Coimbra worked so well together going into the pit stops, and I'm thinking these guys have kind of found a little bit of a little budding friendship going on that has allowed them to sort of work well together. You need that. And of course, Nicholson was there as well. He's now going to go right around all of them. And then on the outside, I believe that's Hartley going to try and take it all the way around. And you get to this point, Allen's going, man, I really wish I would have taken those tires.
Yeah. And I think with now just 9 minutes remaining here at Daytona, I think probably with each lap to the end of this race, he's probably going to be thinking that it's got to be rough on it. And you can see there as the car really starts to walk away on him post apex there at the International Horseshoe, that it is a challenge. And you can see there as Allen is keeping that car mid-track. As he gets a little bit of curbing there and gets really loose at the kink, but he is already, you can see they're driving mid-track going into and coming out of the different hairpins.
As Schwenke runs wide coming out of the second horseshoe, keeping the left side tires cool in the dirt, staying ahead of teammate Mike Dam. Schwenke, if he wants this, and I think he does, he's going to have to start making moves, and maybe this is the lap, because with 8 minutes to go, about 4 laps, you need to get up into that top 4, and then you can get up into the top 2 or 3 on the last lap. But I think for Schwenke, it's go time. Yeah,
it has to be go time. He's been a bit complacent through the majority of this race, and as you've mentioned, it's served him well. He's been able to avoid some other incidents, but right now you can see here that he is he's back bottled up behind DeSoto and Coimbra for the moment. But even as they came out of the infield, it's a little concerning when you see Hartley about 25 car lengths up ahead. You just don't know if you're going to be able to draft up to him. And at this point, we don't even see Schwenke in the scene. He is still about 2 car lengths back from the 30 machine.
There he is. He's taking the nice tight low line. He's got to run behind Coimbra if he needs, I'm sure. Mike Dam will give him a push from behind. It looks like where he's heading right now. I think Schwenke, though, he's going to have to start making the move here. I think he just seeing what's going on in front. He may be betting on the big one happening and just trying to make sure he stays out of it. But I don't know. As we get down to the end here, these guys have put on a pretty good show, shown car control. I don't think betting on an incident is the way to go. I think you've got to take your own destiny in your own hands.
No, and as Hartley has drafted his way up to the lead now around John Allen. And, again, the lead car probably not where you want to be on the last lap. And as we've seen, you can't very easily break away from the pack here. But for the moment, Hartley at least has a couple of drivers between he and Schwenke. But now he's got 4 cars between he and Schwenke really doesn't have anywhere to go when he's got Nicholson and Coimbra running side by side through the second hairpin.
So a couple little stats here to throw out at you. Travis Schwenke has won the championship in this class, season 14.
Yes.
And Rob Hartley has got 6 of these championships, seasons 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, a 5-peat there, and then again in season 15. So you've got some experience going at this. And John Allen, of course, in the mix of this, he's our defending champ from last season, season 20. So you've got some names here that are really putting on a show and fighting for it. it's getting tight, a little bit loose in there.
All right, we haven't checked in lately in the AM category. And by the way, I think we need Most Mint as our statistician here. Larry, would make things a lot easier for both you and I. Paulo Coimbra, currently running 10th overall. He is your leader in the AM category, and you can see there all by himself. And he is running now about a second and a half, almost 2 seconds off the pace of the drivers just ahead of him. And as we mentioned here, Sancinelli came into this evening with a 20-point advantage over Jose Gonzalez, and then Cranston was 7 points back from there. And
interesting watching some of this. You get to see the brake lights come on, and there's a little bit of almost rubbing from Schwenke over to Nicholson, but watching them sort of tap the brakes coming off the oval, back off the brakes, and then finally laying into it as they go. Maybe it's a little bit of a signal like, hey guys, I'm about to brake. A little bit of communication through the left foot or your brake foot there to the drivers behind.
All right, Chris Thorman getting word from race control that he needs to pit in for that stop and go penalty this next time by. I'm sure the stewards probably feel that if he doesn't do it now, probably not going to be able to do it at all. So that is the story there as we continue to watch as our pole sitter Nate Nicholson now falls as far back as he has been all race, down in 5th position.
As he falls down, somebody else may be moving up, and that is Travis Schwenke. He was sitting 6th in this train. There he is into 4th behind his rival and teammate, Rob Hartley. So things are starting to heat up here as we are winding down to maybe the last 2 laps. As we're inside of 4 minutes to go, and Schwenke making the move as Soto and Coimbra now again going to go side by side down towards the bus stop, with Hartley and Schwenke trailing by just a car length or 2. I wonder if one of these actually gives up, or we're to that point of the race where there is no giving up. Yeah, okay, gonna still go single file this lap.
Yeah, I think he slotted in because he probably saw himself maybe losing another position to the number 3 car.
I believe there's a lapped car in front of them, which will give a little bit of a draft for Soto.
Yeah, that is the number 29 of Patrick Provenis, just ahead.
Stay low.
He got as low as he could go. Oof.
Oh, Coimbra.
Coimbra cutting across, yeah.
And there goes Hartley with Schwenke behind him. There's your championship contenders. Are they going to work together to make sure one of them wins this? Oh, we're going to see a 4 wide here with 2 laps to go. That should 3 minutes to go at laps of 2:09. Yeah, I will say next time by should be white flag.
And you know, I think Josh Soto probably, as you know, as he worked so hard to make his way up to the front of the field, and Soto now currently sitting 9th in the championship. You know, no what did it say? No F's given. Here it's like, I don't think he really cares about what the Orion boys are trying to figure out here. I think he is trying to do his first run here after 60 minutes.
He is giving it a go, but I tell you what, he's going to have a train on him if he thinks he can hold it coming out of the last chicane. As there's Allen with those old tires. I think it's finally starting to catch up with him, that he just doesn't have the grip of his infield stuff, which means he can't hold position. He's getting passed as Mike Dam goes by him there. Travis Schwenke, though, needs to make up a spot. He's 2 spots behind his rival. He's got to get around one of them, so that the last lap he's got a chance to stay ahead of Hartley, as we should be 2 more trips to the bus stop, and then we'll be deciding who does this.
We're at about 2 more trips to the bus stop, exactly. We're at about 59 minutes now. About a minute and a half actually before we hit that 60-minute marker, and so it is white flag next time by for our drivers.
Boy,
and now
Schwenke
here we go. Schwenke coming down to the inside.
He gonna stay alongside? He
does. And as they come now through the bus stop, it is the 2 Orion teammates side by side, and Travis Schwenke, he waits to minute 58. We'll call it 59 to get around Robert Hartley.
He put Hartley in a bad position, and look what happens to Hartley. He's gone from 2nd to 6th because of that run that he didn't get coming out of the bus stop. And Schwenke's got just enough of a draft on Soto. Schwenke might actually lead into 1, which may not be where you want to be.
Well, Coimbra is going to push the issue now as they come down in the 1
White flag.
Yep, there we go. White flag is in the air as they cross the stripe, and we've got Schwenke and Hartley nose to tail down on the yellow stripe all the way down to the inside.
It's 3 wide for third place.
Coimbra's going to lead in. Mike Dam making it 4 wide through turn 1. Looks like Mike Dam thinks he's got a chance to win here as well, as he pinned both of his Orion teammates to the wall as they make the run down to the international hairpin. And now, there you go. Travis Schwenke is leader of all the Orion teammates. He is right behind Rui Coimbra now as they head down to the kink.
And Mike Dam is playing spoiler on Hartley.
He
gonna
is.
just push him all over the place. Now he drops in behind him. And we talked about it. Do you want to be second? Do you want to be third? And Soto goes sideways, going to bump into Schwenke at the horseshoe.
Soto goes to the grass. He gets into Travis Schwenke. Oh my gosh, on the last lap, and as Soto went in, he got into the grass early, goes door to door with Travis Schwenke. Schwenke now drops all the way back into 6th position. This will likely cost him the championship.
And Coimbra out in front of the second gap. Maybe he could hold that coming out of the bus stop. He's got to get one run through it as Nicholson's going to push Mike Dam. Schwenke's not done yet. He is about a second or so behind Hartley and Allen. So there's a chance the championship's still going to come down to, as you mentioned it at the top, it could be a 5th, 6th place that decides it. Right now, those two guys are 4th and 6th. But it's Nicholson pushing Dam, willing Dam along to say, we got to get up there and not let Coimbra run away with this. And I don't think it's going to be a Coimbra runaway. Dam is making the run one last bend.
And here we go as they come out of the bus stop, and you see Schwenke running very wide out of the bus stop. He's not going to be able to get up to Robert Hartley, but Mike Dam, can he draft past Roy Coimbra here on the last lap as he is coming around the outside?
What about Nicholson? Here comes Nicholson from third.
Now moves to the outside as they make the run down towards the start finish on Nicholson.
Hartley?
He's got to nose up as
Hartley?
they come to the final bend. Now we've got Hartley, and Nicholson takes the win at Daytona. Mike Dam, he's going to finish 2nd. Robert Hartley finishes in 3rd, and I believe will come home with the championship tonight. Roy Coimbra finishes in 4th. John Allen 5th. Travis Schwenke leading, running in 2nd, going into the international hairpin with 1/2 lap remaining. He's going to come home in 6th tonight.
Wow.
Josh Soto will come home in 7th.
And let's see what happens.
And we'll see. And likely Soto's going to have a penalty assigned, so I don't think that 7th position is going to be his final finishing order. Jordy Fike, 8th.
Got into the
Coimbra,
back
9th,
of Mike
and then
Dam.
Peyton. Yeah, and he just took to the grass. And you just saw that where that car was going to rejoin, and it rejoined right in the door of the number 16 machine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a little bit of aggression on the way in. Got a little bit of contact, and there's the post-race penalty on Soto. It's not going to help Schwenke, who's not currently. He actually finished ahead of Soto. So for Schwenke, he's going to come home in 6th. His rival, Hartley, going to take 3rd. We'll wait for the points to come out, but it does look like it's going to end up being Hartley. Mike Dam comes home in 2nd by 800ths of a second to Nate Nicholson. Where did Nate start this race?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He started on the pole.
On the pole.
And with
Easy
5
win
laps
from the
remaining,
pole.
I think he was back in 7th position.
Easy
and
win
his
from
way
the
back
pole.
up.
Just flag to flag. What a race. What a race.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing finish. All right, so Larry, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's thank some of our great partners and sponsors, and we'll be back with our interviews here from Daytona International Raceway, where you have just seen the finish for round number 9, the season 21 finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. And like I said, we'll be right back.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts, Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
All right, and welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where you've just seen I'll say it, an amazing 60 minutes under the lights here for the finale of season 21 in the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and Larry, as we wait for to get the points updated here, let's take. Oh, we still don't have anybody in the staging room. Over in the green room.
They're all still spraying champagne and
that's right.
And getting the photo opportunity and thanking mom and all that stuff. So we'll give them a minute here to get in here. But wow, what a race. What a finale. What an awesome race. From the green flag to the checker flag, this thing edge of your seat for 60 minutes.
Yeah. About four lead changes every single lap.
The point standings are up, so these guys better get in here so we can talk to them.
All right. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. So let's
all hit refresh. Let's bog the internet down with a refresh.
That's
on
right.
the point standings.
Thank God for Google Fiber, my friend. All right. All right, let's see here. Let me bring it on up.
There it is.
There
we go. 4 points.
Oh,
4 points.
my. Yep, there we are. All right, so we still don't have anybody. All right, so let's do this, Larry. Let's start off with the AM category, because I think this is a little bit easier for us to decipher. Coming into tonight, we had in AM, Edgar Sancinelli was your points leader. He was up on the rest of the field by 20 points, followed by Jose Gonzalez, Jeff Cranston, Greg Brockway, Mike Taylor, your top 5. And oddly enough, that's how it finishes up tonight. Edgar Sancinelli actually makes up and picks up another point on Gonzalez. He's going to finish up with 171 points to Gonzalez's 150, but finishing only 2 points back from there. Jeff Cranston in the Craney Customs machine, the number 97 car, and Frito Sport Racing's Greg Brockway comes home in 4th, only 3 points back from Cranston. Mike Taylor from Frito Sport Racing finishes in 6th, though. A great run for Frito Sport Racing in the AM category this season. And so let's do this, Larry. Let's bring them in here. We've got sitting in the green room right now, Nate Nicholson, driver of the number 56 machine, our winner tonight from Daytona.
Nate Nicholson joining us here, just fresh out of Victory Circle. And maybe you're still catching your breath. Maybe you've taken an ice bath or something to cool down. That was an amazing, exciting 60 minutes. Tell me what it was like behind the wheel for that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, nothing really mattered till those last 2 laps. I mean, just being in that group's all that mattered. So, I said at the beginning, why not have a little fun if I don't get to be there at the end? So had some racing all the way through. And then at the end, I was able to get it. There was some moments where once we started getting close to the end, we started gapping ourselves in the chicane to try to get, see what that perfect gap would be going to the line. And I ended up getting it perfect. So that's what happened.
Yeah, well, for a moment there, after the little bit of things happening there at the second horseshoe, we weren't quite sure if you were going to have a shot. But did you get a little bit of a push down the back straight into the bus stop to help catch up a little bit?
Yeah, I know I think it was Rui had about a second on us, and that was about the gap that you needed to get the lead. So I pushed, I think it was Mike at the time, up to about half a second, and then I got my second that I needed before the bus stop and just timed it perfectly.
Yeah, amazing. But even the first half of that race is the pit stops finally came through at about 20, 30 minutes. You guys had 13 cars all within about 6 seconds of each other. And I can't even count how many times you guys went 2 or 3 wide into one. How hair raising does that get? At what point do you just like, does the adrenaline ever wear off and get to be going triple wide into one every lap?
Yeah, I don't think there was a moment that anyone could rest during that race besides when you're in the pits. So, it was great racing from everyone, good fun.
Absolutely. It was so much fun to watch. That was one of the most exciting races ever. And you make it look easy, right? Just from the pole to the win.
Yeah, I think
uh,
if you look at the stats, it's gonna look pretty easy, but that was not the story.
I think you were back in about seventh or eighth or something like that after the pit stops and work your way back through. That was some amazing stuff to come out on top of one exciting race here tonight. So congratulations for that. And I'm sure you got some friends and family you want to thank for that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank the guys at Delta Sport enough, helping me get the setup on the car for this race. I mixed a couple of the races, so, and then John helped me get up to speed back at the series again, did some practicing, and yeah, it was some good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's good to have you back after a few races off. Hopefully, you're going to be with us next season as well, because you've got the speed to run with what I've seen are some of the best MX5 racers in the world here. So, congratulations on topping them all tonight here at Daytona. Nate Nicholson,
Thank
your
you,
winner.
sir.
All right, there you go. Nate Nicholson from Delta Sport Racing, our winner this evening here at Daytona. And Larry, I think Robert Hartley might either still be in victory lane with his Orion teammates, tossing
Maybe.
the champagne around, but still don't have. Nope, still don't have him in the staging room. So let's do this. Let's take a look at where we finished up in the championship, and we'll give them a couple more minutes to show up here. But coming into this evening, again, Travis Schwenke from Orion was your points leader with 227 points. Just a single point back was Robert Hartley, his Orion Racing teammate, and then Mike Dam, who was our early season leader, was another 11 points back in third, with Jordy Fike and David Payton rounding out the top five. And now, after tonight's finish, as Robert Hartley finishes third here at Daytona, Travis Schwenke finishes in sixth at Daytona. Robert Hartley is your season 21 pro champion with 256 points, 4 points up on Travis Schwenke. Then Mike Dam finishes in third, another 5 points back from there with 247 points. And then it seems like an eternity back to Jordy Fike in the 09 Esport Racer Machine, 208 points. David Payton at 194. That is with the exception of the top two positions swapping here, Larry, in the very last round. Pretty much everybody else held station until you got much further back in the order. It looks like John Allen and Chris Thorman managed to swap positions as John Allen moved from 8th in the championship up to 7th, as Thorman had a very difficult evening behind the wheel here at Daytona.
It shows you how deep the talent is here in this series. When the 20th season champion just a season ago, John Allen, finishes 7th on the season out here. It's just amazing that there's so much talent. It is so deep with folks like, Hartley, Schwenke, Dam, Fike, Payton, Horan, Allen, and we're not even talking about Nate Nicholson, didn't run enough races to get enough points up in that group, as well as Rui Coimbra, who didn't run enough races to get up into that top group. There's 10 drivers that can win any single night here in this series.
Yeah, the level of competition is so incredibly high here in the Classic Sprint Series. But let's do this, Larry. Is doesn't look like any of our folks from Orion, or for that matter, Paula Coimbra.
Well, I'll say it anyway, even if they're not here. Heck of a season for these guys, for Hartley, for Schwenke, for Dam, who had the good start. A great run all season long. And congrats, Rob Hartley, what I believe is now his seventh Classic Sprint Series championship in 21 season. He is the guy to beat, that guy with that 10K I rating. And it showed a night like this, strategy pays off. Just get up there in the mix. He finishes on the podium, wins a championship, but a great run for Schwenke. finishing second, and really Mike Dam also. It's tough to be on the podium in the season here, and these guys, class of the field.
All right, so if you liked what you saw here tonight, first off, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV if you haven't done so already, so you can find out about all the great motorsports action that we broadcast each and every day here on the YouTubes. You can also find us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter by just searching one word, Apex Racing TV. And so let's take a look, Larry, at what we have coming up across our 3 different Ricmotech series. Next week, another finale, the sports car series. Those are our GT4 and TCR cars. They're going to be at Monza for round number 7, 60 minutes to run to the checkered flag. And I'll tell you, across our 2 GT4 classes and our TCR class, I think we're probably going to see some of the same great competition that we saw here tonight in the Classic Sprint Series. In 2 weeks, August 22nd, Monday, August 22nd, is going to be the opening round of season number 5 of the Ricmotech World Challenge. Our LMP2 and GT3 racers will take to the red Georgia clay of Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. We've been waiting for weeks to tell you where we're going to host round 1, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed with the racing there, as maybe we'll get a little preview of Petit Le Mans.
I was going to say, the home of the Petit. What a better place to start out than that.
Exactly. So that is in 2 weeks, and then doesn't take long. In 3 weeks, Giancarlo Schooler, write this date down. August 29th is going to be round 1 for season number 2, or probably season number 22 of the Classic Sprint. Nobody tell Robert Hartley that we just wiped out like a third of his championships. Classic Sprint Series season number 22 has its opening round, and we're gonna keep the mystery and keep the drama for a few more weeks. We'll let you know.
Let's just do it here at Daytona. I'm just saying. That's my
actually, maybe we just have the entire season here at Daytona. I think after tonight, I'm kind of good with that. But yeah, join us in 3 weeks, August 29th, for the season opener of season number 29. All right, so for Larry Lefty McLeod, for Dennis Branch, I'm Greg Ginsburg. Thank you so much for joining us on such a momentous evening, and we'll see you next week from Monza.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.